Hello, basketball fans. Welcome to a new episode of Around the Rim, your favorite women's basketball show. I'm your co-host, Terrika-Foster. I am here with co-host LaChina Robinson, who is looking so beautiful. Skin is glowing. Love the braids. I feel like I feel like we're inspiring each other with the hair. I love that. We're in sync. It's been an incredible week in women's basketball. A lot of things have happening. I feel like we can say this every week. There's always something that is engaging and intriguing, and very much interesting in the WNBA. And so, first things first, we have to obviously get into the star of the face of her in A'ja Wilson, who went off on Tuesday against the Atlanta Dream in their 112-100 win. A'ja dropped 53 of them boys, okay? 50 piece out here. She had 53 points. None of them were from three. How about that? 20. There was one. Yeah, she had 1-3. 20 of 21 from the free throw line. Efficiency was ridiculous. Also had 4 blocks. She could not be stopped in this matchup, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because I think that a lot of us were really talking about, hey, what's the direction of this Las Vegas team after taking a loss after in a tough 3 out of 5 game stretch. But LaChina, you were there. You were on the call for that game along with Angel Gray, and I can't imagine what it was like to be in your seat watching this unravel. So give us the lowdown of what it was like to watch this 53-point performance from A'ja Wilson.
So, Terrika, needless to say, the girls were really happy on, what was that, Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. And so many of my favorite things were coming together in one spot. I've never said this before publicly. I feel like I've had this thought in my mind, but Atlanta is the cultural epicenter of the WNBA. It really is. Period, point blank. When you think about the diversity of the league, the diversity of Atlanta, the intersection of music, fashion, all of the things. And people going to say, oh, it's New York, is it? No, it's the ATL. And if you would have been in the building on Tuesday night, you would have known that. And okay, yes, Atlanta is the team that best executes the swag surf, okay? I will challenge all other 11 teams. You're just not getting it like the A. There's so many things. And all season long, last season, we talked about Gateway Center Arena. The crowds have been incredible. I think it was the 11th sellout that night against the Aces. Tickets were tight. I've been working for the Dream for over 15 years. I couldn't get a ticket. I was trying to get an extra ticket for this person, but couldn't get a ticket. Place was tight. Basketball fans were excited to see Vegas. So Crime Mob was performing at halftime. Nuck If You Buck.
Wait. Nuck If You Buck at halftime?
You didn't know that?
Oh,
you wasn't checking my stories then. So Crime Mob, yes, Nuck If You Buck at halftime. It was Greek night, so the Deltas and the AKAs and the Kappas and the, what's your fraternity?
The SG Rose. Don't play.
SG Rose. Sorry, look at her acting up over here. So everybody was in the building. It was just there was this energy. The Aces, coming off that loss, were wanting to get on the right track. Atlanta, so many injuries across the board. It was Alicia was out, Nia Coffey out. Ryan Howard was doubtful up until the last moment. But this game was so good. It's Terrika, you text me when it was like 55-56. And you were like, oh, what's going on in Atlanta? It was a high-scoring game. I believe that was the halftime score. So it was like 56-58, something, 1 or 2 point game at halftime. But I'm not going to bury the lead. South Carolina fans were in the building. A'ja Wilson is an AKA, so they were in their ski wing. The whole environment, the Crime Mob, everybody knows that A'ja's favorite song is Nuck If You Buck. Like, the stage was set for this, okay? And from the moment she came out on the floor, You felt like something was getting ready to happen. I don't know what. Something was getting ready to happen. And normally when I'm watching Asia play, I'm like, okay, you might want to try to force her to the right. Even though she makes shots going to the right, you have a better chance when she's not going to the left, which is her dominant hand. Or you know what? Keep her out of the paint. Make her shoot a jump shot because she can't hit those, but it's a lower percentage shot than what she does in when 2 feet in the paint. She was hitting everything. She was hitting everything, Terrika. The face-up jump shot, the pull-up in transition, the elbow 12, 15-footer. You couldn't even double her because she was everywhere on the floor, not to mention what she was doing defensively. Like, it was wild. And I think Angel, who is my colleague that worked the game with me, did her breakdown of points. It was like 16 points in the first, 6 in the second, 13 in the third, and then whatever the balance of that is, maybe 18 in the fourth, something like that.
In the fourth quarter? My God.
The girl just went crazy. And what I took away from it, there was a lot to take away. First of all, I've been courtside, and I'm not going to go. I could go all day on this, but I said I'm going to stop talking so much. But I could go all day on the fact that, like, I've been courtside for a lot of incredible performances in this league. Like, yeah, I've seen all 4 Minnesota Lynx championships. I was on Minnesota. I was at the Lynx facility the day Maya Moore was drafted. I was in the room when Tamika Catchings won her first WNBA championship. I mean, there's so many things that have happened in the league, Deladon and all these things over time. Just a whole lot. And this was one of the best moments I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. I don't take for granted that I've been in the room. And I'm watching Asia, and I'm like, we're watching greatness. We're watching arguably the best player in the world right now go crazy. To your point, only 1 3-pointer, which is not easy to score 53 points, tying the WNBA scoring record with 1 3-pointer. Now, she did go to the free throw line, and I know you're going to get to that in a moment, but I just wanted to say that Atlanta did end up losing. They scored 100 points. Yeah. Ryan Howard was amazing. She had the mask on, was hooping. She had 20 at half. She couldn't miss. It was her mom's birthday. I was like, Ryan is unconscious right now. She doesn't even know where she is at this moment. Same with Asia. 2 former SEC players. Being in the Southeast. It just was a moment you had to be there to really feel. But Asia was amazing. She was out of this world. And being a post player, being left-handed, I was proud. I was like, come on, girl, like, go get your. Now, yes, was I talking about some strategies Atlanta could have enlisted to maybe slow Asia down? I was talking about those things on air, but here we are. But I know the 21 free throw attempts, I believe it was something that came across your timeline that you were not excited about.
Not at all. And quickly before I get into that, I'm glad you brought up Ryan Howard. I want to give a shout out to Big Lo, my girl Lo. She has a student who had never been to a WNBA game before. She reached out to Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard was like, I got you. So she got to experience her first WNBA game watching Asia Wilson score 53 points. So
wait, and Big Lo is Lauren,
yes.
Okay.
And so she's a teacher, she's an educator. So she was able to use her connection with Ryan to get that baby into the game, to see her first WNBA game. And so how amazing is that your first experience is watching that kind of performance, and even from Ryan Howard, who balled out. So I'm like,
Ryan was playing. Ryan was going crazy.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, though. Shout out to teachers. Shout out to teachers.
Right. I definitely wanted to throw her some love. But can we talk about the criticism that came on Twitter from a supposed media member? I mean, we talked about that last week, that I feel like we really need to distinguish what you mean by a media member. I mean, writing about women's basketball is cool. If that's what you do, that's cool. But like, what are you really media? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. But with that being said, I cannot in good faith think to diminish what 53 points is because 20 of them came from the foul line. What that shows me is that what you were doing defensively wasn't working.
Yeah.
What you were doing was not working. And so it gets to a point where the physicality needs to step up just a bit to try to stop her. If you can't stop her from earning them in the paint, you got to make her earn them from the line. And you know what she did? She earned them from the line. Yeah. So I mean, I just needed to say that if there's anyone out there trying to diminish a 53-point performance because of free throws, you don't watch too much basketball. Yeah, well, I mean,
and I was there, and I only had question about one foul, which was the last one where she was trying to cut, and Leticia Mihir fouled her or not. What do you thought? I just wanted to see the 53rd point be an actual bucket. I didn't want nobody wanted to see it as a free throw, right? And it definitely wanted it to be like a hard foul. You know, poor Leticia was out here, you know, trying to do what she could. But I always talk about getting to the free throw line as a skill set.
It is.
You have to know how to now, and I'm not talking about the people that throw up shots and like lean and fall out just trying to make contact. This wasn't that kind of situation. Getting to the free throw line is an art. And not only that, missing free throws is a thing. She could have missed 10 of them things and had 43 points.
Could have.
Made them. What was she, 20 for 21?
20. You missed one.
Yeah.
You missed one. There have absolutely been games that have been lost because a player has mistakenly or not mistakenly missed a free throw. So we're not gonna do that.
Wait, not mistakenly? Are you trying to say point shaving? What are you?
No, I'm saying like, you know how sometimes you purposely miss a free throw because you want to be in a strategy position where you miss a free throw. You know, but that kind of thing. So that's all I mean. No, I ain't. But it's never mind. I ain't going there.
But to put the stamp on it, I was like, wait, we point shaving? Like, what's going on? But to put a stamp on this, I one of the things that Tanisha Wright, I credit her for really bringing this to my attention about A'ja Wilson we don't appreciate is how well conditioned she is as an athlete. For you to be in every play on both sides, like for you to be impacting the defense, which is not included in that 53 points, you're working hard on this side, and she blocked several shots as well. And to be scoring, like the mental and physical endurance that it takes to play at that high level is why she's a 2-time MVP. All right. Great. What's next, T? What you got?
All right. So we're going to continue to stay on some interesting things that happened in the W. And while there was a great atmosphere that was taking place in Atlanta, there was maybe a not so great atmosphere that was taking place in Minnesota. Satou Sabally tweeted out a disgusting fan base and many the schadenfreude to see someone get hurt can't be a WNBA culture. Terrible words from the sidelines all game long. And for those who are not familiar with the German word schadenfreude, it's basically people who take joy out of watching people get hurt. So there was a situation where her and Bridget Carlton were going back and forth in terms of fouls. And so she at one point towards the end of the game, I believe it was, she tripped over Bridget's foot and in turn turned her ankle. And there were people on the sideline who were heckling her, basically applauding the fact that she got hurt, applauding that she was injured. So when she went to shoot the technical foul, after making them, she blew kisses at the crowd. And this tweet came of that. And so, LaChina, I know that you took exception to this. And after the game, so did Coach Cheryl Reeve, as well as Nafisa Collier, both of which expressed their displeasure in the fan base reacting that way and practically said it's not the culture they have in Minnesota. It's not, the majority of the fans who act that way. And so they do not approve and agree that those fans who were proceeding in that behavior needed to be escorted out of the building.
Of course, it gets competitive and tensions are running high when we're on the court, but we never want to see someone getting hurt. And so celebrating that is super inappropriate and not something that represents us as a team or as players. So I did think that fan deserved to get kicked out because I don't want that to represent who we are as Lynx, and a lot of our fans, most of our fans, aren't like that. So we don't want that to like tarnish who we are.
You took exception to this, LaChina, and you went to Twitter about how you were not happy. And this doesn't seem to be an unfamiliar practice from some fans in Minnesota.
So what I will say is this. Our colleagues on the actual broadcast, Marnie, Leah B. Olson, called it out. They said this fan has been inappropriate all game. I was happy that the leadership, Cheryl Reeve, Nafisa Collier said, no, this is not acceptable. It's never acceptable to laugh at a player or to heckle a player or to say, that's what you get. Now you're injured. Injuries are devastating. This is how they make their living. Like, how dare you? And Satou couldn't even get attended to on the floor because she was screaming at the sideline. She's in pain, but she's like trying to get these people like, yo, that's inappropriate. So all respect for how it was handled. I quote tweeted Satou's tweet and said, here we go again, Minnesota. And I just want to say I was disappointed by the response by Lynx fans who were coming at me like, oh, LaChina knows better. First of all, I do know better. And that's the point I'm going to make in a moment. I was there when Maya was drafted. I was there for all 4 championships. I have always loved Lynx fans. I enjoy doing games in Minnesota. Walking the lakes during the finals were my favorite thing to do when I was in that city. Love it. But I said, here we go again, Minnesota. I did not say, here we go again, Lynx fans. And if we're being honest about some of the things that have happened within that state over the last, I don't know, 8 years, you should be saying the same dang on thing because the community is not reflecting what Lynx fans bring to the WNBA. Your community. What's happening? What happened to Satou? What happened in 2016 when the police officers that were supposed to be guarding the team and protecting the team walked out because they did not like that Maya Moore and company were standing for Black Lives Matter and were advocating for Black lives. George Floyd, we don't even have to go that much further back. Like, there are things that have happened, and I'm not saying they don't happen in every state. Take Atlanta, for example. I felt the same way when Kelly Loeffler had her situation with the Dream. The Dream did not stand up and say, we want to fire Kelly Loeffler. They said, we want to change the leadership in the Senate. It doesn't just stop with your team. It is your city. It is your state. This is all a reflection of the organization of the environment, how women are treated, how minorities are treated, how these things are handled. And so I was disappointed, yes, that once again, Minnesota let the Lynx fans down. So if you want to know what I meant, that's what I meant.
Mike is dropped on that because I have.
You can tweet me if you have any other questions.
I'm gonna tweet you because I got questions. But no, like,
unfortunate situation. And what I'm saying is Minneapolis, Minnesota, get in line with who Lynx fans have been, because this kind of behavior to me, and again, it's exhausting. Like, let's do better. Let's do better.
It is. No, 100% agree. There's no room for that. There's no place for that in the There's no place for that in sports, but there's certainly no place for that in the WNBA and no. But that, I mean, if we're going to keep it to the court, there was also some additional drama in Minnesota as well. And I know that, we just want to touch on this really quickly. One, Ariel Powers.
Mm-hmm.
So she also went to Twitter to very subtly share with the WNBA world that she very much plans to be up out of the state of Minnesota come next season. So there was a tweet that one of the listeners, this is from @the9450, drove from Portland to Seattle to see Aerial Powers play, but to no avail. What is going on in Minnesota? And super kudos to AP for being so professional, to which Aerial Powers responded, "Thank you so much. I look forward to them coming to see me play next year with another organization." Smiley face. And I thought this was very interesting because I had previously spoken on how I felt that earlier in this season, one of the things that was lacking with Minnesota was having some additional offensive help to help Nafisa Collier. Kayla McBride wasn't really finding much success early on in the season from an offensive standpoint. And Aerial Powers was a player who absolutely started for this team last season. I felt like she's someone who could have provided that additional offensive power that was needed. Diamond Miller was out for a few games for an injury. So it was like, hey, what's going on? And I did not know why AP wasn't playing. I still don't know for real why AP isn't playing. And apparently AP is like, I'm trying to be up out of here. So what did you think about that message from Aerial Powers?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't plan to go too far into this because no one has all the knowledge, right, of conversations that have been had, of what has gone on. What I do know is Aerial Powers is a special player. She is, in fact, one of my favorite WNBA players to watch. She is an outstanding offensive rebounder. She can go, her mid-range is as good as anyone else in the league. She uses her body well to get to the free throw line. Heck of an athlete, explosive. The Mystics don't win their 2019 championship without her, okay? Aerial Powers is a tremendous talent. Injuries have absolutely impacted her journey. She knows that. Everyone knows that. When we're watching her in the off season, she's always in the gym, always trying to get back. So barring there being something wrong with her injury wise, and barring there being any conduct issues that we don't know of, I don't know why Aerial Powers is not playing somewhere. Even if Cheryl Reeve has decided that she doesn't fit in with what they want to do, what about the other 11 teams in the league? What is it that I don't know? Please tell me. And maybe GMs are afraid, in fact, of her injury history. And so maybe Cheryl Reeve is doing her a favor by keeping her on the roster until another team decides to give her a chance, until she can stay injured. I don't know what the situation is, but she should be playing. She should be playing somewhere. And it's sad to watch such a talented player night after night after night after night sitting on the bench. So she's obviously choosing to be a professional about it. I respect that, but I hope we do one day get answers, because it's mind-boggling, especially with some of the struggles that Minnesota's had this year, because I mean, they had a little resurgence, but they ain't in the clear.
I completely agree, which is, again, to your point, I'm a bit confused as to why she's on the bench. And there are moments where she came off the bench this year and was explosive, very helpful to the team when she had the opportunities. I do remember seeing some quotes here and there about making sure that you earn your spot and all this other stuff. And I again, not quite sure. Oh yeah, there was a quote from Cheryl Reeve about making sure that players are earning their spots and doing well in practice, which is, again, I get it if that's your coaching philosophy. But I was just like,
to Cheryl, because she's won championships. But okay, keep going.
I'm just like, I am in a state of confusion as to why Aerial Powers is not on the court. So we'll drop the mic there and leave it there. Hopefully we'll get some answers soon.
Well, and moving on, Terrika, we have talked a lot about MVP. Yeah, we haven't talked about Defensive Player of the Year. We'll do more of our awards unveiling next week. But I want to quickly get your take on Most Improved, Sixth Player, Rookie of the Year. Where are you? Oh, yeah, we'll also do Coach of the Year next week as well.
Yep. All right. Well, when it comes to Sixth Player of the Year, I will say my top two candidates are Dejanay Carrington and Dana Evans. I think what Dejanay has continued to do for this Connecticut team, every time she comes off the bench, she brings the energy. I call her energy a lot. She's averaging 8.4 points per game, which is an increase over last year. She's just one of those players that has had to step up in the absence of Brianna Jones. I think she's one of the better rebounding guards in this league, and I really adore what she's able to do. She gives an extra defensive layer for Connecticut, so I believe she should be at least number one in that category for me. But Dana Evans as well. I mean, to me, I think Dana's having a breakout year. She's also averaging a little over 8 points per game, 3.5 assists. She's solid from a defensive standpoint on the perimeter. I think she has great court awareness. Like, she knows how to get her teammates involved. And just when you think about Chicago and everything that they've been through, from the coaching, from the injuries that they have had over the course of this year, the ups and downs, and the ebbs and flows that comes with the season. To me, she's been someone who has been consistent with how she shows up off the bench for Connecticut. So for me, those are my two in the sixth player of the year conversation.
I like those. And I'll just say quickly, because I know we don't have a lot of time, that my selection is Dejanay. I'll get to that. Dana Evans played fantastic when she was in Atlanta. Watching her this year, she's had some bright moments. You're not going to be my sixth player shooting 37% from the field and 29% from 3T. Those percentages are never going to win you sixth player of the year. I'm sorry. So I got to shut that down. But Dejanay is coming off of an injury. She did not play all off season. Yeah. She was injured to start this season. The mental fortitude that it takes to go from that to having the best season of your career. So much respect from her. So much respect. Okay. Where are you with most improved?
So most improved for me, I feel like I keep flip-flopping between these same two every other week, and that's Satou Sabally and Jordan Canada. Now, for me, I usually don't really consider, I feel like we need to have a comeback player of the year official category, because I think when you have an injury, it's very different than you playing a full season and literally improving. And so that's what I see from Jordan Canada. I feel like she played last year and she's literally just improving from year to year, where Satou had an injury where she didn't play the entire year. And so this is like a comeback year for her. But quite honestly, I mean, what Satou at times I feel like is the reason that Dallas wins a lot of their games. Even in the game against Minnesota that they just had on Tuesday, she was the team's leading scorer with 22 points. She plays so well inside. She knows how to do everything. She's an all-star this year. I feel like Satou is reminding us why she was the number 2 overall pick. But Jordan Canada has taken advantage to me of the opportunity that she has been given in LA. And they are on a 5-game win streak right now. LA is balling. They're starting to play better, and I can't help. She has increased in everything this year. She's increased in her shooting percentages. She's increased in her rebounds, still everything tremendously. So for me, those are the top 2. And from week to week, I don't know which one I put number 1.
I'm with you, and I'm very much in the same place. I came into last week saying Satou was my choice, and I kind of have gotten mad at people who are saying, well, she was injured, so, she just got healthy, or she's playing more minutes. So no. Satou is a unicorn. Okay. We've never seen her score a triple double before. And if you want to add a layer to that, it's actually harder when you haven't played a full season to come in and be one of the best players in the league, because she was trending in MVP territory for a while. That kind of transition is not easy. The other part about what Satou has done is she has taken Dallas from we gonna make a playoff spot to we gonna be Vegas, to we could finish in the top 4 in the league, to we are championship contenders. Okay. So she has raised the bar on that team's expectations. I won't say by herself, because Natasha Howard has been doing her things as well. But Satou has been tremendous. However, when I saw Jordan Canada play again, but against the Aces last weekend, LA got the win. Shout out to LA. We have to talk about them, as we're getting ready for our playoff prep. 5 in a row now that they've won. About to play the Dream on Friday, who are injured, but I'm just not going to go off on that. But when I watched her play, I saw a player that was transformed. Mm-hmm. She is pulling up so confident and so smooth from the 3. She is a completely different player in my opinion on the offensive end. And I don't want to understate the fact and this is nothing against Seattle, but Nneka believes in her.
Yeah, she does.
That Sparks organization believes in her. This is not a Sue Bird's out for the season, girl. Here, take the reins of this for a little bit. We'll be back. This is no Jordan. You are her. So step into this. Now, with that, I will say, I also think that she this is embarrassing to even say. Jordan Canada was signed to a training camp contract when training camp started.
Yeah, I knew that. Isn't that crazy?
So she also had something to prove. And she also has done this under duress of coming in knowing that was where her value was. So what you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm with you, going back and forth. Last but certainly not least, where are you with your
rookie of the year?
Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston.
Is this even a question?
It's Aaliyah Boston. But what I will say is when it comes to the all rookie team, I need Jordan Horston better be on there.
Okay.
Like, period.
I haven't sketched out the whole team yet, but you feel strong about this.
Jordan Horston better be on there. Jordan Horston, to me, is a player that we need to keep our eye on for years to come. She's a guard who's playing out of position now with Seattle. Noe Quinn is super high on her. I've seen it in college at Tennessee. I see it here. She has also had to sit a couple games with some injuries, but the way that she is a sponge, the way that she wants to learn, and the way that you can see the things that she's being told translate to how she is on the court. Defensively, she's so much stronger now than she was when she first came. Like, Jordan Horston better be on that rookie team. So Aaliyah Boston is my rookie of the year, but show some love to Jordan.
Well, and I'll get to Aaliyah in a second, but shout out to Noah Quinn in general for where Seattle stands right now with 10 wins, because with that, I'm no disrespect to their roster at all. But in comparison to some other teams, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with Seattle this year. They are making a push. And I can appreciate the improvement that they have made. I think they're 6-4 in their last 10. They've lost 10 in a row at one point this year. So that's a whole documentary series that we'll have to do at some point. But I haven't got to the all rookie team. I just want to say, Aaliyah Boston is the rookie of the year. There's no competition. Stop writing these articles with these questions about, is Aaliyah Boston? How about we start writing articles comparing her historically to other rookies and other great players that have been in the league? She's leading the league in field goal percentage. It's hard to be efficient in this league, and she is leading as a rookie. Is she going to transition in and be successful? She's going to transition in, and she's going to be better and more efficient at putting the basketball in the basket than any other player.
Remember in college when we used to say, we can't wait to see Aaliyah in the WNBA because then she won't be double team and triple team no more.
Please. She commanded all that respect and putting the ball in the hole. I did say, I thought, we don't have time. We got to wrap this show. I'll get to Denver next week. I posed a question on Twitter asking if diversity is important for a WNBA team. So I still want to take more responses to that. And it's in response to Denver looking like it might be the next expansion location. Kind of gave all that away. But anyway, we'll talk about that next week. But I do want to say that I predicted that Indiana would make the playoffs.
You did.
Why are you clapping? They are not in the playoffs, T.
They're not, but they're not out
today. But they're not out.
They are not out.
And to that point, I want to leave the fans with this. We have 2.5 weeks left until the end of the regular season. This is how high and how low each team can finish. Vegas can finish as high as first and low as third. New York can finish as high as first, low as fourth. Connecticut can finish as high as first, low as fourth. Dallas can finish as high as second and low as ninth. Atlanta can finish as high as fourth and low as 12th. Minnesota can finish as high as fourth and low as 12th. They have done an outstanding job of turning the season around. Mystics can finish as low as fourth and as high as fourth and as low as 12th. Deladon is not back, so they're not secure in their playoff spot. LA can finish as high as fourth and low as 12. Chicago can finish high as fourth and low as 12. Seattle can finish as high as 5th and low as 12. Phoenix can finish as high as 6th and low as 12. Indiana can finish as high as 6th and low as 12. A lot of things would have to go wrong for some of these teams to make it in. Okay, so don't get fooled. But no one's been eliminated. It's 2.5 weeks left in the season, and teams haven't been eliminated. So Indy might.
I'm saying. I just listen. Keep your eye on LA though. That's the trigger one for me. That's the if they come into this, if they 5 games, man, listen.
It's a lot. All right, fans. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm at LaChina Robinson on Twitter or X. I'm never going to call it X. She is at She Knows Sports. Find Terrika. You can tweet us both at Around the Rim or email us at aroundtherimpodcast@gmail.com. Thank y'all for joining us. See you next week.